welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studio and Stampin' Up Sunday. Now I was going to work with the Snowflake Splendor papers, but then I remembered, since I have 4 videos that I'm recording today, it's Tuesday night, that I wanted to make these cards really super simple, give you an easy, quick tip to elevate the elegance of your cards, and how easy this paper is to work with. Now, if you'll remember, when we were flipping through the Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper, there were a couple of papers that I said would just make the absolute quickest Christmas cards. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do 2 different styles from papers using Feels Like Frost. Before I stamp anything, I'm going to show you the envelope trick that I have, because I need to do it before I get ink all over my hands. I've already goobered up one envelope doing this after I'd stamped, so let's do the envelope trick first. If you want to put a nice lining inside your envelope and you don't have any kind of a template, what you want to do is take whatever you want to use for your lining, trace on the back side of that paper, and it doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom. You want to shorten this up a little bit. The key is to make sure that you have paper that goes pretty much to the top. And here's what we're going to do. I've lost my pencil already. There it is. We're going to go ahead and trace the envelope just as it is. And I'm doing this without my glasses, so bear with me. Just like that. Just trace your envelope just like that, real lightly. And if you get any pencil marks on your envelope, they're easy enough to erase. Put my pencil back so I can find it. Now here's the trick. This was traced around the outside edge of your envelope. So all you have to do to get a much better, to get it to fit inside the envelope is come in about 1/8 of an inch inside your line. Because you just need that breath of air between the inside edge of your envelope and your liner. And we're just coming in about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, just like that. And then you'll see that it will slide right down inside your envelope. Just perfect. Providing it's not sticking somewhere. I must not have trimmed something somewhere. There we go. Just wasn't going in straight, that's all. And then bring your envelope liner, bring it back up to, first off, make sure you have the right side showing. And bring it back up to just below your glue line on your envelope. And kind of fussy it. And then, before you glue anything, come in and fold your flap down, because that's going to make a difference in how that lays. Whoops, see, I rivered that one up. Okay, and then come back with your glue, and instead of pulling this up to your flap, bring your flap down to meet it and burnish it in good, and you have just lined your envelope. Just that easy. Let's do the other one while we've got it. So then we'll have both envelopes done and ready to go. Open your envelope. Make sure that your paper has a little bit of breathing room on your tip. Come back around and trace your envelope. And you can probably get closer to this or see it better than I can. I'm trying to do it at a distance, leave it in camera for you, and you know, all that fun stuff of filming a video. And then we'll come back in, just a scant 1/8 inch of our line, just like that, down. And that'll take care of that. The trick is making sure I'm going to trim that one just a hair more on this side, I think. I think I went crooked with the scissors and didn't get a even cut there. There we go. The trick for doing the liner is to make sure that you position your paper on your envelope and fold it on that fold line before you glue anything down. And you don't have to glue the inside, that you want that little bit of wiggle room for this down here. Just don't worry about it, it's not going anywhere. And then bring your glue across. And remember, this liquid glue will squish a little bit more than the aqua. So you've got room to play. And I just almost messed that up, didn't I? And there you go, you have your lined envelope. Okay, now let's get to the cards. If you remember when I was flipping through these, I told you that these 2 sheets from this paper pack were perfect as is for doing cards. So we're going to do one of each. This one uses Highland Heather, and this one I've backed with Night of Navy. So you've got a more traditional look and then a little bit more contemporary feel. But you do need to trim them down. So let's start with our Night of Navy. And this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock cut to 8.5 by 8.5 by 11, score at the 5.5 on the 11-inch side, and there you go. 4.25 by 5.5. There you go. That'll do it. You know what? Since I've probably totally just confused you, if you've not cut a cardstock before, 8.5 by 11, turn it the long way for the 11, cut it at the 5.5. Get your blade out of the way, and then go back to the 4.25, because 4.25 is half of 8.5. Is half of 8.5. Score at that 4.25 mark. And you have a perfect card base for an A4 card. Just that simple. Okay? So we've got those. Now we have, this makes our card front. Five and a half by 4.25. So we want to come in a 1/4 inch all the way around. So we need to make sure that we are cutting this. This needs to be, we're going this way. So this needs to come out to be 5.25. And we've got room, we can take that off right there. And see, that will let that, no, we need to go 5.25 this way. There we go. So I'm going to take it down to the 5.5. And then I'm going to turn it around, so I'm taking a little bit off each side, and this goes to 5.25. There we go. Now we're on the right track. And then we need it to be 4 inches. And I didn't want to lose anything down here on the snow, so I took everything from the top half of this. So we're going to the 4-inch mark. Just like that. Okay? And that's all we're going to do to this, and it will center right on that card front. So we're going to put our glue down on this one. Remember, don't go all the way to the edge or you'll have a gluey mess. It will squish. It will do its thing. And I like to open my card back up so I get a good measure of where I'm at. Okay. Now to line my card, I use 32-pound weight copy paper. It's not as heavy as using white cardstock, but it's got a nice body to it. It gives you a good elegance. And so we're going to go ahead and glue this to the inside of our card, so we've got a white space to put our sentiment. And I just go around the edge. It doesn't need to be secured with cement. It just needs to hold in place, just like that. And with the Tombow, you've got a little bit of room to wiggle, a little bit of time to wiggle things into place. Now, what I did, I'm using Night of Navy ink and the Snowflake from Tin of Tags. And I am not sure if this is still available. You can use whatever Christmas stamp set you have. Also, be sure to check the new Christmas catalog. We have some good stamp sets in there for the new holidays. If you do not have a demonstrator you work with, I'd be happy to help you. And I'm using Night of Navy ink and this Snowflake. And we're going to ink it up. And remember, you get better coverage and less smear if you put ink pad to stamp and not pushing your stamp down into an ink pad. Whichever way you choose, whatever size ink pad you choose to use, it's the same process. Ink pad to stamp set. Now I'm going to stamp this off on scrap paper once, stamp it off twice, and then I'm going to come back and stamp it on my card. I'm still picking up little brush thingies from yesterday's project. Straight down, straight up. And see how soft that is? Now we're going to come back with the stamp set that says Joy to the World. And we're going to ink it up with the Night of Navy, full strength, and go right over top of that Snowflake. And I'm going to pull this to me so I can see. We're just going to center it over top of that Snowflake. Straight down, straight up. And there you go. And you've got just the hint of that Snowflake in the background. And I think that adds a nice elegance to that. So there's card number 1. That simple. And remember, we have this pretty envelope to put it in. Next we're going to work with the Highland Heather. And I think I pulled the wrong. I may have used Purple Posy, not Highland Heather for that. I did. Let's use Purple Posy. I thought Highland Heather was a little dark. However, the Highland Heather ink works perfect for this. So let's go ahead and glue our liner in. And I just have a bunch of these pre-cut, and I keep them in a DVD case, or actually it's our thinner stamp set, or stamp case from Stampin' Up. And you can buy the empty cases. And we're going to open up this Purple Posy cardstock base and lay our liner in there, just like that. Now if you'll notice, we didn't put anything on the inside of this one. You could have. And then we're going to take this one, and I'm not going to confuse you this time, I promise. It looks like we need, see, I wanted to take a little bit off of both sides. Get the paper digger out of there. Right now it's 6 inches, so let's take it from one side at 5.5 and the other side at 5.25, and that will give us the perfect width to lay inside of our card base. And now we need to come back, and I took this one off because I didn't want to lose any more of the snow at the bottom than I had to, so I chose to come back up, and I trimmed this off first right at the top of that tree. I barely left a 1/16 of an inch above that tree. Just enough to not be chopping the top of the tree off. And then this has to be 4 inches. So we can come down, cut this off at 4 inches. Now save these pieces. You can use these for lots of things. Don't toss them. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this to our card base on the front. And I'm going to run a couple lines down through there. Make sure you've got your card front going the right direction. That one did goober just a little bit. Didn't get it squared up. Now I've chosen another one from here. It's called Making Spirits Bright that I've chose from this set. And we're using the Highland Heather ink. Now most all of my inks are in stamp spots. What I do is I buy a bag of the re-inker of the spots. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, you can get them at Stampin' Up, and then I just buy the re-inker bottle and I make my own ink pads. I like the smaller ink pads. And then we're just going to stamp this up. Remember, tap, 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 don't push, because you're going to get squishy ink and you're going to get ink where you don't want it. Just tap, tap, tap till you've got your whole stamp image covered. D. Grunig taught me to huff on my stamps. Kind of helps add a little bit of moisture. And then up here where I've got this bare space, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment. Straight down, straight up. And there we go. We have a second Christmas card. We have made 2 Christmas cards in 15 minutes. Plus, we lined the envelopes. Now, on the blue one, if you want, you can take and add a seal, or you could stamp the snowflake there. I tried stamping the snowflake, but it was a little... I think I would stamp the snowflake before I put the liner in, because you've got this edge. So, those are our Christmas cards for Stampin' Up! Sunday. There are 4 of each of these in that package. So you could have 8 Christmas cards like that. That's it for Stampin' Up! Sunday. Thanks for joining me today. If you're liking making cards and seeing what I do with Stampin' Up! Products, please remember to like this video. Click the subscribe button, because remember, 500 subscribers by the 26th of September means that I give more presents away. And when you subscribe to my channel, make sure that you click the little bell and click all notifications so you don't miss anything that I may upload. Because you never know. I may get off track and do something that is not on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday thing. I may throw something in during the middle of the week. Who knows? And you are not going to want to miss that. So, thanks for joining me in the studio today. I hope you've had a great weekend and have a great week. Creative blessings.